What is up, beautiful people? If you are joining us, say hi in the comments. Let me know you are here. Um, did that post? Yes. Okay, awesome. So, what are we going to do tonight? We have last year we did a really fun like in-person class and we rhinestoned some license plate frames. So I have one that I did not finish. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to finish that one. And then I also wanted to ask you guys if that is a class that you guys would like to do again. I ordered some more license plate frames. So I have everything and we could do that on Zoom or we could do some other virtual style class. So if that is something that you would be interested in, post a yes in the comments and let me know. Um, it would be, we'd probably do it like a month from now because you guys would need time to order. I would need time to put the class together as well as ship it out to you guys. So if this is something that you would be interested in, um, post a yes in the comments. So the kits that we did last year, and I might change it up a little bit depending upon like what you guys let me know. So the kits that we did last year is that you could pick one color and there was two different sizes. You got a pack of SS20 and SS10. And then we did a dual honeycomb fill for the license plate frames, which is what this one is. So hopefully you can see that, where this one is, there's SS20s and then there's SS10s. So we could do that again. And then the one that I'm going to finish today, I did this one in two colors. This one I did in crystal and in tanzanite. So this is the one that I'm going to finish. I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to do that. And then, yeah, hopefully this is something we can do as a class. I would love to start doing that again and then having a class. Like, it's always been the goal to do it once like every 3 months, but it has just been like super busy and I've never been able to kind of like catch up with myself and everything else that's going on. So I feel like I'm getting there. But this class would probably be like a 2 hour class that we would do together. So yeah, just let me know. It'll be fun. We'll have stuff. We might have some giveaways, all of that good stuff. So if you join us, say hi. I see that Renee is here. Welcome. How are you? Um, do you have your paint class tonight? Is your class tonight, or do you have it earlier in the evening? So anyway, thank you for joining us tonight. Love to see you. And Renee made these awesome, awesome, awesome trays for us, which I am so excited that they have launched. And I'm excited to show these to you guys. If you were on last week, you already seen them. So these are called the Hive, and it is a like rhinestone system. It's not just one tray. So there's 7 trays in the center that you can put your rhinestones in. So you can have multiple colors in here in this little compact space working on multiple colors, which is not something when you have these little green trays, like you're stacking them all up, the little rivets in them aren't quite the right size for the rhinestones that we're using, and then you're stacking these and moving them. So we got these made and they are just literally time savers. I have made 2 tumblers with this, and I'm working on the project that is in the April Bling box. Literally, I'm saving so much time not having to fumble around with the trays. So you can put 7 different colors in here, as well as the lids double as a tray. You have the ridges in here too. There's a little plug right here that you can take it out so that you can pour it back into your bag or whatever you're using to store them in. And these trays also come out too. So you can reposition these if you need to. You can use this side as a larger tray. And then when you're done, or maybe you didn't finish your project, you can put these all back in here or keep them in here, however you want to work with it. And then you can put the lid back on and store it for later. Like, it's magnetic, so the top is not coming off. Like, it is, this is like game changer, guys. Like, literally so cool. So those are on our website. Those are under the what's new section. And if you are in our Facebook group, there is a $10 off code for them. So go join the Facebook group if you want to get that code. Just don't forget to agree to the group rules to be accepted. And it's literally like one question. So that is it. If you had the March Bling box, I would love to see your guys' tumblers when you get them finished. So this is the tumbler pattern that we had. It was an Easter pattern with the silhouette of 3 little bunnies on it. And it had some clouds in the sky. And then it also says nice buns on the side. So this was like cute, little cheeky, not your normal. And I've always been trying to figure out like the lettering with the patterns, and I've been doing patterns for a long time now. So getting the lettering on this like right so that it was like good and legible and readable was like I was beside myself when I finally like got it all done. But if you did get last month's Bling box, just don't forget the original pattern that was mailed out had the lettering in the same color as the light sapphire. You are going to want to change those out. I emailed everybody. I added the new revised pattern to everyone's account. So if it's not something that you started right away, just don't forget that we recommend you change the lettering from the light sapphire to the raspberry or the apricot color. You're still going to be able to read it, but we're not just going to get that pop that we're looking for. So don't forget to change them. You can do it all pink, you can do it or all raspberry, you can do it all apricot, whatever you want to do. I just decided to like alternate mine, kind of make it, give it a little bit more flair. But whatever you want to do, this tumbler is like super cute, super fun. And this is kind of like my personality too. So if you didn't get the Bling box, you can get the pattern. It is on our website. Again, it's under the What's New section, same as with the Hive rhinestone trays. So the other thing that we had in the box was we had, for the mix of the month, we had these cute little Easter eggs. So these are the 2 that I did. I did one and kind of just a scatter fill with all of them, kind of like trying to ombre it. I did like the darker up to the lighter colors. So there's that one. And then I did one kind of in a chevron pattern. So if you guys did these 2, I want to see them over in our Facebook group. And then I used the, which one was this? This was the Luminous Latte Opal on the bottom on the little stand. So super cute. Super cute little quick project for you guys to do. And the mix, this mix was called Bless Your Heart. This would be a super cool mix to do on an Easter tumbler or Easter project with the scatter fill and a tumbler. It's like totally Easter colors. So fun stuff. Then April's Bling box, I am going to ship them out tomorrow. I'm going to ship them out on Friday because next week, next Thursday, we are going to do the unboxing. And I know UPS right now is being kind of a pain with shipping. So if you are one of those people who have unfortunately been a byproduct of UPS's delays in shipping, I apologize. Please know that that is out of our control. I cannot tell you how many times I have shipped something to someone and it is literally like a state away, and somehow it ends up in California before it gets to the person. And shipping is no longer taking like the normal 3 to 5 days, it's taking 7 to 10. I don't know why this is. I don't know why they're misdirecting everything, but if you have a problem, reach out to me. I will help you submit a lost mail request. Usually once I submit those, I get an email within 48 hours, granted not on non-business days, only Monday through Friday. Normally I get a response from them within 48 hours saying, hey, we found your package, it's back on its way. So if that happens to you, again, I apologize. Please know it is out of my control, but contact me and I will do what I can to make sure that it's getting back on its way. And if this continues to happen, especially as we go on throughout the year, I will probably switch over to shipping through UPS. And I've shipped a couple packages that way recently, and I'm kind of testing that out to see like what it is. The problem is though, is the shipping with UPS is a couple dollars more than what it is through the post office. So I try to keep the prices as low as I can, which is usually UPS or the post office. So if we have to switch to UPS, I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I'm kind of testing it out right now. So, enough of that. What else? Any questions from you guys? If you have any questions as we're going and we're working on the license plate frame, please post them in the comments. Again, I would love to do another class with the license plate frames. So if that's something you are interested in, please post a yes in the comments and we will get that all figured out. We'd probably do it like a month from now. It will be, I'll kind of update the kit and I'll give you guys more info. So I said hi to, I think, Renee. And then someone is a newbie from Peru, Indiana. Welcome. How are you? I'm not sure what your name is. It just says brown sugar. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. And Miss Kristen is here. How are you, honey? So let's go ahead and let's work on this. This is the frame that I did last year during the class. I did this one in all crystal and I did it in the dual honeycomb fill. It has SS20s and SS10s. So we're basically just alternating the pattern from 20 to 10 back and forth and then all the way around. So I have another one that I did, and I did this one with 2 different colors. I did the crystal and tanzanite, but I never finished the top. So one of my goals this year was to make sure that all of these projects that I have that are in varying different stages of completion, that I get them done. So we're going to get this guy done. And from the hurricane, I had to get a new car because the tree fell on it. So my current car needs a new license plate frame. So that is where this one is going to go. All right. For this, oh, and the license plate frames that we have do include the little caps that go over your, like the screws on the back of your car. So these are included in with the license plate frames. And in Florida, we only have to have one tag. So I'm only putting this on the back of my car. We're not one of those states where we have to have a front and a back tag. And so Miss Brown Sugar is, oh, Tammy. Hi, Tammy. How are you? So Tammy is asking, what is the best glue for blinging? So that is kind of a loaded question. It is really going to depend on what you are rhinestoning. It depends on the surface. There's not like a glue that works for everything. Your prep for all of the different stuff is going to be different as well. For tumblers, if that's what you're going to work on. I don't know if I have the bottle right here. One of my go-to glues is Super Tight Fusion Tack. It is a white glue that dries clear. Why did I put 2 of these in here? A lot of people also use Liquid Fusion. That is a clear glue that stays clear. That glue is a urethane-based glue. I do not personally use that one because, in my experience, it looks fine when you're doing it. It looks fine when it dries. But 6, 8, 9 months down the road, because it is a urethane-based glue, urethane's yellow over time. The glue starts to yellow. So then you end up with this yellowing base underneath your rhinestones, and it starts to not look good. It starts to take away the effect. You have this yellow undertone between your tumbler and your rhinestones, and you start to see it. So I used to use it, but I don't use it anymore. I'm not saying it's not a good glue. It works fine. Again, this is just my experience. In 6 to 9 months, the glue starts to turn yellow. With the Super Tight Fusion Tack, it starts white and then it dries clear. I have tumblers that I've made 3 years ago and they're not yellow. The glue is not yellow. You can also use what I'm going to use today, and this is a 2-part slow cure epoxy. You're going to mix this in a 1-to-1 mixture, and I'll go ahead and do that while we are talking. So I mix this on just Post-it notes, or you can just use scrap pieces of paper. You don't have to have Post-it notes. It is a 1-to-1 mixture. So this one is a resin, and then the yellow one is a hardener. And you're putting a yellow hardener into this. Eventually, over time, this one can also turn yellow again. So it is a 1-to-1. You want to have about the same amount of each one. I usually start with about a pea size of each one and then mix it, because you can always mix up more. You don't want to end up with a whole pile of it that you're not going to use. And you need to make sure that you give it a good mix. 45 seconds to a minute is usually enough time. You want to make sure that it's thoroughly mixed. If you are working with it and you're finding that your work time is only like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, you're not mixing it enough, and it's hardening prematurely. So I'm just using a makeup applicator too. You could use toothpicks if you don't have these. Toothpicks work fine. But I mix, and then I push it all back towards the center, and then mix it again. You can also add glitters or mica powder to this, or any of your glues actually, and it's going to color it. It's going to help blend in the gaps between your stones. So when it's like good and mixed too, it will have kind of like a milky off-white color. You can also use this on tumblers, but if you're new, there is a lot of sliding with this until it starts to thicken up and harden. If you're working on a tumbler, when you put your rhinestones on it, they have the potential to start sliding around, especially if you use a lot of it, which you don't need a lot. With any glue and rhinestoning, you do not need a lot. The kind of rule of thumb is you want about half the amount of adhesive as the size of the rhinestone. So if you have really tiny stones, you need a tiny, tiny bit of glue. And then when I use this, I'm just putting a very, very thin layer on here. So I will put, let's see. I'm just going to put it on and kind of spread it out, kind of like you're painting it, and you just want it thin. And let me switch over to the one camera so you guys can see better. All right, that should be good. All right, so, and on our website too, on the website, blingyourthings.com, in the Bling Tips section, there is a blog post that is all about different glues. So you can go there and read a little bit more info about different types of glue other than what we're talking about right now. So for this pattern, I am doing what some people call the cushion method. I prefer to call it the dual honeycomb because I'm just literally creating a honeycomb fill, but I'm using 2 different sizes. Because, let me get this here. So because there are these, I'm gonna want to like work around this too so that I can still put my screws in here and it's not going to affect it. So I want to make sure that this line stays straight the whole way down. So I'm gonna do that first. Let me work it this way. Yes, our website is blingyourthings.com. See, these little trays are perfect. You can kind of move them right where you need them so that you don't have a lot of room that you're traveling back and forth to move your rhinestones. And they flip up way more of your stones than those little green ones do. Any other questions, guys? Have any of you rhinestoned your own license plate? If you did, what color did you guys do? So I have the epoxy down to about here. So now that I got that line done, I'm gonna make sure that it's straight. And then I'm just gonna go back and fill in the rest of this. So this is a fairly simple fill pattern. You can use this on a tumbler. You could do it on your jerseys. You could really do it on anything, to be honest. You can do it with one color, multiple colors. Renee, what are you doing? You got to get it done, honey. Well, if we do the class, then you can bring yours and you can just join the class with us. And then we can rhinestone it together. And let's see what else. So yeah, I told you guys the bling boxes are going to ship out tomorrow. On next week, we will do our unboxing next Thursday at 8 p.m. And I'm super excited about what is in the next box, as well as the mix project. That one is super cute and super fun. There will be a lot of uses that you can use for that. So I can't wait to show you guys that one. I think there's 3 boxes left if you didn't get one. So tomorrow will be the last day that you can order. So I'm going to pack them, and my goal is to have them shipped out by 3 so that they get into the post office system before 5 o'clock. That is my goal, ladies. Okay, so E6000, can you use that? Sure. The thing that you're going to hear a lot about E6000 is that it's toxic, and that is correct. So all glues, if they are following like US guidelines, have what is called an MSDS, which is the Manufacturer Safety and Data Sheet. And I recommend, if you're using any type of adhesive, whether it's for rhinestoning or whatever, that you should read that. You should like educate yourself on what you're using and what you're going to be potentially breathing in by using that product. So why a lot of people don't use E6000 is because the amount of chemicals that are in it and go into the air when you're using it is very high. It's very toxic for you. I do not use straight E6000. I rarely use it on, if I use E6000, I use the one that is, let me see, I think I have it right here. It's called E6000 Plus, and this one has epoxy in it as well. This one has lower levels of the bad stuff in it that you're going to breathe in. So if you're going to use regular E6000 or that one, you should be wearing a respirator while you're using it. If you're using it in your home, you should be opening your windows. It should be very well ventilated. You should not be using it and just breathing it straight in. So I don't use regular E6000. I'll use the E6000 Plus, but not very often. And when I do use it, I use it while wearing a respirator. I have the fans on, I have the doors open. Um, you shouldn't be breathing it straight in. So you have to make sure that you protect yourself with any glue or adhesive that you're using. and I tend to be like super sensitive to things with strong odors. So the E6000 would give me headaches. My face would become flush. And that's not, that's no fun when you're trying to do something that you enjoy and then the adhesive is causing you to have a headache and your face is getting all hot and red. So it's up to you, to each their own, whatever they choose to use. But with any glue, like I said, and you can get the MSDS off of the manufacturer's website. You just have to go there and like look for it. And the respirator thing, um, there is one, like if you go to our website, like all the way at the bottom, it has a thing that says products we love on Amazon. And if you click that, you will go to like our Amazon storefront, and it has the type of respirator that is recommended to be used for those types of glues. And the filters that are in there, the recommended types of filters are also on there. But yeah, if you have asthma and COPD, my recommendation would to be not to use that. And like I had breast cancer like 5 years ago. So after all of that and all of the nasty chemicals that they put into you to like make you better, I am extra sensitive after that. So, and I definitely don't want to have cancer again. So I try to steer clear of those products. Um, Gemtac is similar in consistency and type as it is to super tight. I'd have to go look, but I know super tight, the reason I really like them too is because they are non-toxic. And I don't remember on Gemtac if that is also non-toxic. I'd have to go check. So I don't want to stick my foot in my mouth. But I would look on theirs too. I don't know if they make the claim that they're non-toxic as well. They might, but that's also a very popular glue too. Just don't use too much. Like if you use too much glue with any type of adhesive, too much glue is going to like pile up and clump up, and then it's going to repel from the surface because you're not attaching one thing to the other. You're attaching it to a pile of glue and it's just sitting there. And then it comes off in like big chunks. But there's a different glue for everything. Like these types of glues that we've talked about and are using wouldn't work on like a vinyl. They're not going to stick to vinyl. The Bob Smith would look like it's going to work, but on vinyl, but after you do it and then it dries, it will literally just peel right off. But very good questions. Thank you for asking them. And then I am going to mix up a little bit more of this. Another thing that you can do with the two-part epoxy is if you tend to feel like it slides around, you can mix it up and then wait a couple minutes before you use it to let it get some like tackiness to it, and so that there's like less slide with it. And when you mix a new one, I always recommend to use a new stirrer, because the product that's on the old one has already started to cure, and you don't want to mix that in with your new stuff. And then if you wanted to mix mica or glitter in with your epoxy, you would do it at this point when you're mixing it up. If you use glitter, you want to use a fine glitter. A chunky one is not going to work. So then I'm just going to let that set up a little bit. Kristen is halfway done with her bunny cup. I can't wait to see it, girl. Easter is coming. You got to get her done. Oh, and two, the mix of the month, right? So I always make extra of them. And if you want to win one, there will be a post in the Facebook group next week that is going to ask you one question. And all you have to do is answer that question in the group, and I will pick a winner on next week's live unboxing, and you just have to be on the live with us to win. You don't have to pay for shipping. I will ship it out to you. But all you have to do is comment on the post that is in the group and then join us for next week's live. And if you are on the live when I call your name, you will win the mix pack for April. Which is worth $40 plus the $7 in shipping. So that is a pretty cool prize pack to win. And if you need a bling box or the mix of the month, tomorrow will be the last day to order, because I am shipping them out tomorrow. And if you want a sneak peek of like the colors, just go over to the Facebook group and scroll back a couple posts, and you will see kind of what the color theme for this month is. On Facebook, yes. In the Facebook group, it's called Bling Your Things Rhinestones. It will ask you a question about agreeing to the group rules. Just make sure that you answer the question and that you agree to the rules, and then you will be accepted. So y'all, you see these trays? Like, this is so easy to kind of just like move it around like where I need it so I can keep my stones close. And it saves so much time. Like I've been rhinestoning this for what, maybe 15 minutes now, and I've already got like all of this almost done. Total time saver. And the little ridge things are like far enough apart that it works with the larger colors too, which the green ones just don't. So what else y'all got going on in your world? Wait, what? You're just doing tumblers, but now you don't think you want to? Why? It is like super fun. Once you start, you will be addicted. The glues, as long as you're picking the right ones, you shouldn't have any issues. With the tumblers and the pens and all of that stuff, there's a ton of patterns and ideas out there. We have a bunch of free patterns on our website to get you started. And I need, what do I want to do? Can I get one more in there? Yes. I just stuck my finger in that. I need to make a little bit of room to get the pattern to line up here at the end. So yeah, you can use liquid fusion. It is totally it's totally up to you what kind of glue you want to use. There's 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 no right or wrong glue to use. The only thing that will be right or wrong is if you're using the glue for the right type of surface. So make sure that you read the glue that you're using and make sure that that glue is for the type of product you're going to be putting it on. The one that I use the most is this one. It is super tight fusion tack, and I think the camera like zoomed out on it. Or it's out of focus. Hopefully you can see that. So this is the one that I use, right? This is super tight fusion tack. I use this on tumblers. I use it on plastic stuff. I've used it on my shoes, but shoes, I would actually recommend a different type of glue because those get a lot of wear and tear, a lot of movement. You could use it on jerseys, depending upon what kind of jersey, but also the liquid fusion, the gem tack, those are also recommended for those types of surfaces as well. So just make sure that you read the packaging. Like, what does it say that it's for? What is it going to bond to? All of the glues are different. Some of them are going to work on some surfaces better than the other one is. They're not all made with the same type of products, so they're not all going to work exactly the same. They're going to be very similar, but they're not exactly the same. So you're going to have to like test it out and see which ones you like better. Some people prefer liquid fusion over the super tight, and like me, I prefer the super tight over the liquid fusion. So it's really, again, it's really just up to you, whatever you want to do, test out, try it. Um, I apply this type of glue in a syringe with a 20 gauge blunt tip needle. If you use liquid fusion, you could also use this. Some people put it in a little squeeze bottle with the blunt tip needles as well. It's really up to however you want to try it. And like Renee's saying, if you're having trouble with um here, I feel like no, with the super tight, no, you don't need to wear a mask. With the E6000, you should wear a mask. With the E6000, the E6000 Plus, you should be wearing a mask with that. The level of chemicals that are let off into the air with that type of glue, you should totally be wearing a like face protection. And you should have the right type of filters in your respirator that you're wearing. Let's see. I think I have, yeah, like you should be wearing one of these with E6000, and they have filters in here. Usually when you buy it, the filters in here come with the first one, but you'll have to buy like replacements after you use it for a while. And then you need to make sure that you have the windows open, the fan on, and you are totally ventilating that area. Especially if you have small children. Like, small children don't have the, how do I want to say it? They're not able to, they're kind of just like a product of their environment. They're not asking for that. Um, if you use E6000, do me a favor, do yourself a favor, wear one of these. If you're using super tight fusion tack, it is non-toxic. If you're using liquid fusion, I would have to go look. I don't know if it's non-toxic or not. I don't use it because over time it yellows. But with any of them, just read the packaging. You can go to their website and look too and see if it's non-toxic. So it's really up to you, whatever kind of glue you want to use. There's really no right or wrong one to use. You can use whatever type of glue you want. So, um, hopefully that gets you back on the rhinestone bandwagon. Yeah. So, yeah, with this one, you don't need to wear a mask with this one. It's non-toxic. Um, but I think I got this baby done. So once it dries up, this cures, the two-part epoxy cures in, I think, 48 hours total. So once this baby is dried up, I am going to give her a wash with some alcohol and some soap and water, and then I'm going to throw her on my car because the new one does not have it. So and two, like Renee is saying in a comment before, we do have sublimation rhinestone kits, which those have the pattern printed directly on the tumbler. I have one right here. This is actually a pattern that Renee made for us. So the pattern is printed, I'll show you over here. The pattern is printed directly on the tumbler, and I like to say it is bling by color. So you literally just take the color of the rhinestones that match the color on the tumbler, and then you put it on there, and you don't have to follow a printed pattern where you're going back and forth between the printed pattern to putting it on, making sure that you're counting, that did you get them in the right order between what's on the paper and what you actually did on the tumbler. These are, I like to call them the training wheels of rhinestoning tumblers. If you're unsure how to do it and you want to get a feel for it, see if you like it, and not buy like a whole bunch of packages of rhinestones before you get started, this is the way to go. You are going to get the pattern printed directly on the tumbler. You're going to get enough rhinestones that you need to rhinestone the tumbler. And I give you a little bit more in case you have mess ups and whatnot, but this is the way to go. I call it the training wheel of the training wheels of getting rhinestoning. It's like paint by color, but you're rhinestoning by color. It makes it really simple. All you have to do is put on your glue, and that's it. So, and yes. So, any other questions? And so, gem tack is non-toxic. So awesome, awesome. Yeah, I haven't used it in a long time, so I can't say for sure, and I don't want to misspeak, but that is awesome that it is non-toxic as well. So I'm excited. I got one project out of a whole pile completed. That was my goal this year, is to get all of these random projects done and out of the random stages of miscompletion, if you will. So unless you guys have any other questions, I will let you go. And again, if you want to win one of the April Mix of the Month packs in the Facebook group, next week there will be a post that asks you a question. You just need to answer the question and then join us for next week's live, where we will do the unboxing, and I will pick a winner from someone who commented. And if you are on the live with us, then you will win a mix pack. So thank you guys for joining me like you do every week, and I'll see you next week for our unboxing again at 8 o'clock. See you guys later.